Yet another major announcement made by Donald Trump has been struck down by the US federal court. And this is not the first time that this is happening to Donald Trump. So the question here is federal court reaching out, looking through the stack of announcement, the unusual announcement made by Donald Trump, or is it Donald Trump who has made these unusual and absolutely with non-regard of the Congress which is present at the fulcrum of polity when we are talking about US. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today's session we will be understanding exactly this, because this is the second time that we are seeing a major announcement where the H-1B visa application fees was hiked up to $100,000 that has been struck down by US federal court. What are the reasons behind it, how this exists in the polity of US, and most importantly, how it would have fared in India. So what is the comparison that lies around it? So let us try to understand all of this, beginning with that what exactly has happened. So US federal court in Boston, what they have done, they have ruled out the fee that President Donald Trump associated with H-1B visa. So initially the fees used to be much lower, but the Trump administration had imposed $100,000 fees on the new visa, H-1B visa specifically petitions that were supposed to come out. Now earlier this ranged between $2,000 to $5,000. It was raised immensely, and this is exactly what that has been labeled, that when we are looking at such a huge amount that cannot be seen as an administration fee, this needs to be seen as a tax, and if you are putting a tax without congressional approval, then that becomes unconstitutional. So all in all, this whole policy was vacated by the federal court right there and then. Now this was the overview of the situation. Now let us try to break this down, starting with understanding when we are talking about what exactly is H-1B visa. When we are talking about H-1B visa, this is the type of visa that can be used by high-skilled labor to enter America as the workforce. Now what we need to remember about H-1B visa, that this is a non-immigrant work visa in which the American companies can employ from the foreign countries, especially when we are looking for specialty jobs or when the jobs are equivalent above the graduation. In this context, a lot of employment, especially in US, originates in IT, healthcare professionals and more. And because of that, there was a regular cap that was placed of 65,000 regular visas of H-1B, and 20,000 additional visas came for advanced degree holders. Now the validity of this was 3 years and it was definitely extendable up to 6 years, but the fees, as I mentioned, remained somewhere around $2,000 to $3,000. But the bigger thing that we need to understand about India's context is that India used to account for 70 to 75% of the number we just discussed, and the major beneficiaries of this H-1B visa used to be Infosys, TCS, Wipro, SLT Tech and also US tech firms, because this allowed these Indian companies to export the services which we take the advantage in terms of foreign currency as well. So in this context, this was a very beneficiary position not just for working professionals but for India as well. Now in this context, what has happened, the moment fees was dramatically increased, it led to a great decline in numbers. 38.5% drop in registrations. You can see the number present here. Now this is when the petitioners filed this in the federal court, and then we get to see that this has been scrapped. But why exactly the government brought it? What made Donald Trump sign up for this? So Donald Trump believed that this visa is being used to replace the American workers. The work specialty or the advanced skills that we are asking, that is not being done by the companies, and visa is being used to hire comparatively cheap labor. Wage suppression concerns were present. Protection of domestic employment, they said this is how we will be able to ensure that employment in our country is given to our own people. And if we have to hire, it should be for highly skilled workers, where the company would also be very much interested to pay for the H-1B visa application. So Donald Trump tied it not just to economic concerns for the country, but also national security, that how immigrants probably are entering through this visa and staying in. This was another thing that was highlighted during the recent visit of Mark Rubio, who pointed this out to Dr. S. Jaishankar as well, that we have more than 200,000 people to be figured out in terms of the situation of immigration, which is like a crisis situation. So this reform was presented as a solution to the crisis and helping the economy as well. But this does not seem valid. They only expected that it will discourage foreign hiring and it will increase the opportunities for US citizens. But what happened? The 85 payments have been received since February 2026, and the new applications as well have sharply declined, showing that this number is too huge for the American dream to be sold. Now, this is where we would want to also understand that what exactly went wrong for Donald Trump. Why did he not think that he needs the approval of Congress? For this, let us begin with that how exactly laws are made in US. So, when we look at the legislative process, we see the bill is introduced in Congress, the committee scrutiny takes place, and then it is passed by House and Senate both, and after that it is signed by President. That is when it becomes a law. In this specific condition, when we are talking about taxation, this is where it is very important that we have to understand that this is a constitutional principle, that proper approval of Congress is required. And that is exactly what court has said, that this $100,000 charge is not an administrative fees, it is a tax, and if it is not authorized by Congress, if you just have given the executive order, that does not stand valid. So this is where you have to remember, this is also about separation of power. A lot of things, especially in US's setup of polity, in terms of power, are concentrated towards the president. Yes, definitely. But the proper legislative process is also laid out, and the provision of taxation has also been mentioned. That is why putting it clearly flat out as vacated by the court and unconstitutional as well. Now, when we are talking about federal courts which are present in US, they are responsible for judicial review, check on the executive power, protection of constitutional right, and resolving federal state disputes as well. Can you tell me in the comment section, does Indian court setup or the Indian judicial system also work or deliver function on the same line or not? So US court structure also lies very similar as compared to India. Can you tell me the difference which exists here? Tell me in the comment section. Now we'll be moving to understand very quickly, draw a comparison between India and US in terms of this. Tax can be imposed in India. Tax can be imposed in India through proper legislation which comes from the parliament, approved. And this is Congress here. Judicial review allowed? Yes. Both cases? Yes. Court can strike down an executive action? Yes. India? Yes. Separation of powers exists in US, but in India, we have the basic structure doctrine which follows that. And the same Congress approval that we are talking about, similar provision, Article 265 in Indian Constitution talks about that no tax shall be levied or collected except by authority of law. And for that, it needs to be approved right here. So I hope this has given you a fair idea that how Donald Trump imposed the fees, but that is not constitutional. And on this note, I'll be leaving you here with the prelims practice question. Let me know the answer to this in the comment section. Thank you so much.